Good evening, this is the Oscar Expert here, and it's time to review If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. This is a psychological drama about a mother of a child who has a mysterious illness, whose husband is constantly away on work, who is just absolutely stressed out of her mind, trying to make life happen and trying to get everything under control. Just start off by saying this is one of the most stressful movies I've ever sat through. An absolutely overwhelming experience, truly. The amount of cortisol pumping through Rose Byrne's character's veins is something I hope I never experience in my life. And the film just does not let up. It is directed by Mary Bronstein, and her approach is to lock in with Rose Byrne in close-up for probably most of the runtime. And it's a decision that is undeniably effective. And Rose Byrne's performance here is stellar. She is just going through a constant crash out here. Her performance is such a chaotic display of anxiety, self-loathing. Her performance in the film really captures just how overwhelmingly and possibly stressful it can be to juggle all the responsibilities that come with being the parent of a sick child. You know, while also having to go to her day job in which she's a therapist. It seems to this character that there is no guidance. There's nothing anybody can tell her. There's no rule book. Nobody can possibly understand or deal with the situation that she's dealing with. And I mean, the movie's incredibly effective at making you understand that state of mind. And also within the subjectivity that Bronstein creates, where we're so locked in with Rose Byrne's performance, there's also this great choice where the child's face is not shown. The child is always just this off-screen presence. And it's one of the few choices that really required me to sit with it and consider it, especially what it means for this character's subjectivity and how much of the way she sees the world is the way it is, or the way that her anxiety, as justified as her anxiety may be, is leading her to believe that it is. The film also has some heavy symbolism with holes that also left me thinking for a while after the film. Not 100% sure how to piece everything there together, but certainly interesting. Really liked the challenge there. There are also some really good supporting performances here. Mainly Conan O'Brien as this character's therapist is really wonderful. He is funny without ever seeming like he's trying to be, and it certainly proves that Conan O'Brien could do more dramatic work if he wishes. And also A$AP Rocky is in this film too, and he is surprisingly great. Like there's no issue with him being an actor here. Gotta think that this has to do something with the talent of the director to get these great dramatic performances out of actors who don't do dramatic performances very often. And also Rose Byrne, like, she has never done anything, I think, on this level. For sure, I think this film was a sign of a great director coming onto the scene. And the sound design here is fantastic. It's just constantly grating. Actually, I will say, sometimes I think it was too grating. And it was obvious, it was like, yeah, I know that you're trying to make me, like, stressed out all the time. But there were some scenes, like, there was one scene where she walked into a room and she's confronting this other person. It's already so stressful. Did there have to be, like, metal music playing in the background from a shitty speaker that kind of hurts your ears? Like, did there have to be? And the answer is that they were just trying to overwhelm you. And there were a couple points in this film where I felt like I was just being overwhelmed to be overwhelmed. You know, maybe it got to a point where I maybe needed it to switch up the tone a little bit, because it is quite relentless. And some people will find this movie just downright unpleasant. You know, not a movie to see casually, not a movie to, you know, take your mom to necessarily, unless she likes freaky movies. But for me, although it was stressful, it was a film that I could not look away from. And it's tapping into a very deep and specific human experience, or maybe, you know, maybe a broad human experience too, as it's about motherhood. And many are saying, this is the film that Night Bitch wanted to be. Well, actually, this is the film that you wanted Night Bitch to be. Night Bitch was a film that, you know, wants to show you the stresses of parenting, but wants you to come away feeling like this is something that you can get through and, you know, kind of empower you to, you know, be a good parent in your life, or make you feel seen as a parent. It's a bit of a different goal and an objective, and the films are for different things. So I think the comparisons to Night Bitch are unproductive and kind of silly. Night Bitch wasn't trying to be like a freak out movie. All that said, I think this was a very good movie. I want to see it again. Like, even though it was incredibly overwhelming, I think that there are layers to this film that I want to come back to. I give this film an 8 out of 10, highly recommend it. I think Rose Byrne needs some Oscar consideration here. I think it will probably not happen because the film is so off-putting. I do feel like if Tilda Swinton can get some hype for We Need to Talk About Kevin, maybe something like this can happen. It also kind of reminded me of Rebecca Hall's performance in Resurrection, which was a performance that should have been recognized, but it was too small of a film. So, you know, just putting it out there that she's amazing and awards worthy in this. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. What would you do if you had legs?